Hey, what's going on, guys? So I decided to make a new set of side blades for the front, and I'm going to show you the process of how I go from a blank sheet of paper to a finished piece. What I start with is going online and just finding like inspiration, looking at race cars, whatever I like. Usually it's time attack cars or just like the newest designs of different manufacturers. So I usually just take elements of like the best elements of each and just mash them together and come up with something on my own. And for these blades, I actually got inspired by the new GT500 Mustang. I really like it, so I decided, why not take that as like the base and work from there. The trick to drawing straight lines is actually place your hand on a paper and literally just slide it. And you got this line. Now that I know the corner I want, I can actually finally draw that in. So finally got the main shape done, and what I did was I ended up trimming the base a little bit more. Also need to add these brackets. These will be epoxy to the blade like this, and basically this section here will sit on the car's wheel well edge, and it's gonna have like 2 screws going through it and possibly some 3M tape on the back. Maybe not, I don't know, we'll see. This should hold really well actually, because I use like really strong epoxy for this kind of thing. Ideally, I would want to attach this right to the bottom of the car, but the problem is my lip has like a weird angle, so it just wouldn't look right. So I decided, you know what, this is the best solution, just the bracket. So now I'm going to finish the brackets and then test fit this piece. Just make sure that the fitment is perfect and stuff. So for this kind of thing, I use 5-minute epoxy. It's strong enough to like test fit, and if I don't like it, I just snap it off, and then I reposition it, and then I find like the perfect location first, and then I use my strong epoxy to finalize like the edge. They look kind of thin, but they're really, really strong. I mean, if you look at it, like, I can sort of flex it, but it's like really strong. And the more layers you use for carbon fiber, of course, the stronger it gets. And if I added like 2 more layers, for example, you wouldn't even be able to flex it at all. But then it would add unnecessary bulk, and I don't care about the weight of it, but just like wasting material, I don't like doing that. So in this case, I use like a main layer of 3K carbon, and that's just a visual layer. I get like the nicest looking carbon for just that. And then for the other layers, like to build up bulk, I also use quality carbon, but it's 12K, and visually it's not like the best thing. You know, if it's 12K carbon, it means it has like 4 times the amount of strands or whatever than the 3K. In this case, I use 4 layers of the thick one and 1 layer of the thin ones. So other than the visual aspect of carbon fiber, which everybody likes, well, at least most people do, is the stiffness of it and the memory, the material memory. So basically, you can flex all day. It's still going to return to its original memory when it's infused and when it's fully cured. You have this blade and somebody bumps into it, and basically anything else like aluminum, it would bend. With carbon, it's like nothing really happens to it, you know. So the process with this stuff is always tedious, like setting up infusion, you know, cutting carbon, like then trimming and refining edges and stuff like that. It's always sort of the same thing, but it enables you to perfect the process, you know, when you do it so many times. Everything has to be perfect. If you do one thing differently and incorrectly, it's like the whole thing is ruined and you get like pinholes everywhere, and you can't really fix that. I mean, at least not in a clean way. But if you do everything right, like set up the infusion, everything's like the lines, the spacing between components in the mold, you get pretty perfect surfaces actually, you know, like no pinholes. There's no waviness to it. Like a lot of carbon fiber parts, like I've bought in the past, they're nice visually because they use a lot of clear coat on them to make them look shiny and smooth. But when you look at them like this, like at an angle, you see a lot of warpiness, like the reflection would kind of zigzag a lot. And that usually is the result of a bad mold, because once the carbon is infused, it pretty much mimics the surface it's infused upon. If you have like, let's say, a piece of glass, so the carbon would look like a mirror, essentially. And if you have like a tiny scratches in a glass, let's say, it's gonna reflect on the carbon piece like exactly the same way. You know, making a mold, make sure like it's perfect, or you'll have to do like a lot of post work. So for this kind of shape, you just bend the sheet of aluminum over a PVC pipe and you create this radius, and the surfaces are pretty much as perfect as the aluminum sheets. So I'm gonna finish the brackets now and install it, test fit. And just like that, the blades are finally done. I like that you can see all the detail from like all angles, you know, that it sticks out and it's got all these fins inside. The way I mounted it to the bumper, it's like super strong. And this weave is called plain weave. It's something I prefer to use nowadays because I don't know, I just kind of got tired of the regular twill. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.